Hello. So I've gotten several requests for help on number 15 from day 6 homework. So the first issue is the fact that it's asking you to find the maximum speed. Every single time you've been asked to find a maximum in calculus, that means you take a derivative and set it equal to 0 and solve. So I'm going to take a derivative of speed. Now, I was supposed to find the answer for, or the formula for speed in problem 13. Speed is magnitude of velocity. And this problem gave you your velocity vector. Your x component was e of t and your y component was sine of t. So your velocity vector was e of t comma sine of t. So because speed is the magnitude of velocity, speed is equal to the square root of the x component of velocity plus squared plus the y component of velocity squared, which sine of t becomes sine of t squared. So to take a derivative, I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is raised to the 1/2. And I know the derivative of anything to the 1/2 is 1/2 anything to the negative 1/2. So speed prime is equal to 1/2 e to the 2t plus sine of t squared to the negative 1/2. And then it's going to be times the derivative of anything. Well, the derivative of the inside piece is going to be, the derivative of e to the anything is e to the anything times the derivative of anything plus the derivative of sine squared is 2 sine of t to the first, and the derivative of sine is times cosine of t. Now, I'm going to rewrite this by putting what needs to be in the bottom and what needs to be in the top in the top. So in the bottom I have a 2 and I have this radical e to the 2t plus sine squared of t. And in the top, this had a 2 and this had a 2, so I'm going to factor out the 2 and write e to the 2t plus sine of t times cosine of t. So this was speed prime. Now, to find a max or min, you are supposed to take the derivative, set it equal to 0, and solve. So I took this derivative that I have here and I plugged it into y1 in my calculator. And I graphed it between 0 and pi because it gave me a starting and an ending. And I tried to find x-intercepts. The problem was this one didn't have x-intercepts. And the graph all lied above the x-axis, which means that the derivative is positive everywhere. So if I make a sign chart, here is 0 and here is pi. When I plugged this into my calculator and saw that the entire thing lied above the x-axis, there was no x-intercept, which meant there was no critical point, so it was positive. What does the derivative tell me about the original function? If the derivative is positive, the original function speed is increasing on the entire domain. So when it says find where the maximum speed occurs on the interval from 0 to pi, it has to occur at the endpoint. So the maximum speed occurs at t equals pi.